Well, hello there. This is Virtuals the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. I'm really pleased to show you this game against one of my new friends on chess.com, the Devil Cat. And when I saw that they also had a cat avatar, I knew I just had to show this game. And this game is really fun as well. Let's go take a look. We start off initially with what looked like the Vienna. I had the black pieces. We play e4, e5, and knight c3. Vienna game. Very, very nice. As you know, I'm a big Vienna aficionado. Now, when someone plays a Vienna against me, what I usually do is play the fork beer, knight f6, because what I want them to do, I want to bait them to play the Vienna gambit, of which I will then drag them down the main line. Now, in the main line, black has an advantage, and also because I sort of know the main line reasonably well, I can often win in that position against Vienna players in the beginner intermediate level who would rarely go down the main line. And as a good indication of the last time this happened, have a look at this video where one of my other chess subscribers attempted to play the Vienna against me, and I basically said, you dare use my spells against me. Now, in this game, however, my opponent surprised me by not playing the Vienna Gambit and instead decided to go play the other knight. So here, for black, go down the 4 knights. The 4 knights is often a little bit better for black, especially if they play the the Italian variation of the 4 knights. However, in this position, they played probably one of the sharper lines, which is the Scotch variation. So this is just like the Scotch game, except all the knights are out. So this is a 4 knights game, Scotch variation. Here, they take back, and I decide to now develop my bishop. So basically, my approach to this position is that white has now sort of spent a couple of moves moving the same knight. So I'm going to use that opportunity to try to accelerate my development. So bishop to c5, long term potentially looking at the weak f pawn on f2. They take the knight, capture back with the b pawn, basically capture towards the center, and everything here is still theory. This is the first move, out of book move. It's not the most accurate, trying to pin the knight against the queen. Simple idea, doesn't quite work in this position. Again, I now opt to short castles. I'm well developed. I expect that they were going to try to do something like push the pawn. So, the idea makes sense. The knight is essentially pinned, place pressure on the pinned piece, except I can now pin that pawn against the white king. Now, I did this with the queen, and my logic here was, firstly, it takes my queen out of the pin, and, I'm now pinning that pawn to the king. Now, this potentially isn't the best move because white could potentially take this way, which, exposes my g-file. So that's potentially what they could do. However, they opted to unpin their pawn by bringing out their bishop, perhaps potentially trying to scramble with development a little bit. You can see that wasn't a good move. It was a mistake. And in fact, here we're about minus 1.7. And that is because they have just straight up hung that pawn. So queen captures the pawn. This bishop is now pinned. And if they take, I take back this way. Very, very nice. I think white probably wasn't expecting that. Now, this was a daily format game. And one of the things about daily format games is because once you make a move, it can be quite a bit of time before the next move. It can be easy to potentially lose the flow of the game. And I think this sort of shocked my opponent a little bit. They sort of lost their nerve in terms of the attack, and they pulled their bishop all the way back. And again, that is another mistake. In fact, it's almost minus 6, minus 5.7 here. Defending that bishop to queen here was best. Now, the reason for this is that I now potentially have a very powerful move, which is knight to g4. That is not attacked because it is pinned. If they try to attack this way, well, that is basically a mistake because I've got a double attack on that position. It doesn't work. That will win one of these pieces. Effectively, it will win the rook. So that was not, so this is a real problem. And let's say white decides to, short castles here to, bring an extra defender to that weak f pawn. Well, that would be a serious blunder because that would be mate. So that is a really, really powerful move, pretty much winning the rook, which is why it's better than minus 5. However, I didn't see that in this position, and instead I decided to play bishop to a6. So now thinking again, pinned, let's place pressure on the pin piece. I'm up a point of material, potentially captures. I end up, transforming up a bit of material. So that's what I was thinking. And here, it's a mistake. I lose a lot of my advantage, but it's still okay. It's still about -2. Now here, white decides to short castles. And here I decide, look, let's just whack, take. They decided to take this way rather than with the queen. Probably trading queens would be good for them because now I do see knight jumps forward. Not the most accurate move, a little bit intemperate. However, in this position, I now have this very, very powerful attack. So here, as long as my queen stays on that diagonal, as long as my knight stays here, there is always a checkmate in one thread. And they can't even dislodge the knight with that move because that pawn, that f pawn, is pinned to the white king after short castles. So even though that's not the most accurate, it's still a very tricky move for white to navigate. And sometimes having that attack here forces white to always have to play accurately because a single mistake is mate. Now white decides to block that mate with knight to g3. And the thing I want you to conceptualize here is that that knight is actually pinned. We often think of pinning as, one piece pinned to another piece, particularly as a low value piece to a high value piece. But pieces can also be dynamically pinned to a position, to a square. Here, it's not that the knight is pinned to the h pawn, it's that the knight is pinned to the h2 square. As soon as that knight is no longer blocking that diagonal, queen h2 is mate. So what do? Push my h pawn. Here, I'm trying to get rid of that knight, trying to dislodge that knight. Now white here doesn't like that, moves here, good move, attacking my queen. Now here, I decide to play queen to f4, keeping vision. Now triple attack on that weak f pawn, but still on that diagonal. Now here, remember what I talked about the problem of daily games, how it can be difficult keeping your memory of the flow of the game? Well, what that means is that it's easy to lose sight of continuity. Continuity, that knight is pinned to the f2 square, the h2 square. They forgot, and they thought, "Ooh, I can capture that point of material." Knight no longer defended by a pawn. An attack also on the queen. Attack also on the g7 pawn, and that comes with a double attack. Looks like it's very winning. That's what they did, but it's a blunder. It's a blunder because of that loss of continuity. Queen captures pawn on h2, and that is mate. Good game, GG. The big takeaway from this game is twofold. Firstly, keeping an attack or a threat on the opponent's king can be a really effective tactic, even if maintaining to do so isn't necessarily the most accurate move according to the engine. And number two, in daily games, take extra care, extra attention to make sure you don't lose sight of continuity. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.